Hello everyone and welcome to today's IELTS analysis class where I will be looking at an IELTS task that you've been completing in the Facebook group, and I'll be providing answers to that task and looking at how this is relevant to and will be helpful for your exam studies going forward. So if you're watching this class live, please let me know in the chat box. Welcome to all of you, whatever time of the day it may be, whichever part of the world you may be in. My name is Alexander, for those who have not seen me with these classes before, and I look forward to you providing me with your thoughts, your interactions as well during this class. It's great if we can get people to give suggestions and answers, just to see how well we're able to do these tasks and to show how much we've learnt from these activities. So welcome to all of you. Hello to Gutierrez. Great to see you in the class today. Thank you for saying hello. And I look forward to seeing others entering the class too. So we're going to go and have a look at this. And the focus for today's class is writing structured paragraphs for IELTS writing part 2. And that's what we're going to be focusing on. Just a quick hello there to Anna Karenina. Welcome to the class, and Navjot as well. Hello to you. So here are some pointers then to begin with. It's worth acknowledging the fact that for writing task 2, you need to be writing an opinion essay. And within that essay, you're expected to write logical, organized main body paragraphs. So what does it mean to write logical and organized paragraphs? Well, for the first sentence of your paragraph in the main body of the essay, you should ensure that you begin with a clear topic sentence. So if we were to imagine that you were writing an essay on the topic of educating children in same-sex schools, you're looking at the advantages and the disadvantages of doing that, then we could start the first main body paragraph with the topic sentence, which would read something like this. So the benefit of educating children in same-sex schools is, that would be our topic sentence. We're making it clear to the reader that we're focusing on the benefits or the advantages, and we make that really clear right from the first sentence. So that would be a logical way to begin our main body paragraph. We would then move on to look at the topic sentence, explaining the topic sentence. That would be the second stage. So we've already stated in the first sentence that the benefit is, and then it could be any benefit, that children are more likely to concentrate, for example. We then explain the topic sentence by writing something such as, this is because same-sex schools allow for, and then we might say they allow for more opportunities for focused study as there are fewer distractions due to there not being the opposite sex, for example. Okay, so that's the point, is that in the first sentence we've got a clear topic sentence, then in the second sentence we explain that topic sentence using appropriate language. We would then follow this up by providing an example. So we could use a phrase such as for instance. So for instance, in the boys' high schools, it is less likely that boys will distract other students because they won't be trying to impress the female students in the class. Okay, and we can give an example of that using that context. And then for the final part of the paragraph, we would explain how the example connects back to the topic. So we could state that this demonstrates, or this shows, that there would be high levels of concentration in a same-sex school, and this is a clear benefit. So everything should be linked, everything should be organized, and there should be a clear purpose for each sentence that you write in the main body paragraphs of your essays. So I can see that a few more people have joined the class now. Hello to Alice, welcome to the class. Hello to Jesse, Jayshri as well. Arman, great to see you in the class. and Iqbal as well. So hello to all of you. Okay, so we've looked then at what we should be doing in terms of structuring a logical paragraph. And this is an example. This is looking very generally at how we should approach IELTS writing. But let's be a little bit more specific. Let's look now at the structure for a problems and solutions essay. So with a problems and solutions essay, there is a clear way in which we can ensure that we're including all of the key details in a logical and organized manner. So we can see that the first step is that we should identify the problem. What is the problem that we're focusing on? The second step is to provide more detail about the problem. So we've identified what the problem is. Now we're saying this is what the consequences of that problem are. We give an example of it. Okay, so an example of how it impacts people or the types of people who are impacted by it. Then we propose a solution. And finally, we explain how the solution addresses the problem. So this is a clear, logical, organized way that we can approach writing a main body paragraph for a problems and solutions essay. Now, the task itself is going to give us examples of how we can use that structure, and that's what we will see now we move on to actually look at the task. So just before we do that, it is definitely worth noting that being able to write logical, organized paragraphs will improve your IELTS writing score. It will improve your score for task response because it will be clearer to see how you've answered the question, and it will improve your score as well for organization or coherence and cohesion. So this is the question. The number of people who are overweight or obese is far higher than in previous generations. What are the reasons for this, and how can the problem be tackled? So here are the sentences. We've got 5 of them, and we can see that the first sentence is letter C, and this begins by telling us what the problem is. So it says one of the reasons that so many people are overweight is that they eat junk food instead of cooking a healthy meal. So if we go back to our structure, we can see that the first point was to identify the problem. Well, that's been done. The problem's been identified. We can see that people eat junk food instead of cooking a healthy meal. So the next step, number 2, would be to provide more detail about the problem. So which of these sentences does that? Which provides more detail about this problem? Let me know which option you would choose to fit this structure. So let me know in the chat, and we'll see what ideas people share on this. Okay. Okay, so Jayshree is suggesting B for this one. Do we agree? Does anyone have another suggestion? Gutierrez is saying B as well. Okay, it's looking like we're getting agreement here. Good, absolutely. I agree with both of you. Yeah, it would be B, wouldn't it? This helps to provide more information about the problem. So it helps to explain the problem further. So we know that the problem is that people eat junk food instead of cooking a healthy meal. And so more context is given. It's common for people to eat takeaway food, which obviously would be junk food, or pick up a ready meal, which would be another example of junk food, rather than cook a healthy meal. So we've got an explanation now of the problem. So the next sentence, we want to provide an example. So which of these would help us in terms of providing an example of the sentence? Again, let me know in the chat box which one you think would be most appropriate for the third sentence. Okay, so great. Jayshree suggesting C would be the appropriate example. Do we agree? Does anyone have a different suggestion? Charito is saying C as well. Okay, so we've got some agreement developing here. And absolutely, again, I agree with that. We can see, can't we? For instance, is a key phrase to use to give an example. And looking at pre-prepared meals and the fact they contain high levels of fat and salt. Yeah, they've increased dramatically, it says here, in the last few years. So it provides an example of people eating more junk food now, perhaps than they did in the past. So great. We've got the first three sentences. So for sentence number 4, now what we want to do, if we check this, is to move on to look at the solution. So what is the solution to this problem? Let me know in the chat which of the 2 sentences that remain would you choose as the 4th sentence for this paragraph. Okay, so Gutierrez is suggesting D. Any other suggestions for sentence number 4? Alice is suggesting D as well. Okay, so does that fit? Let's have a look. Yep, absolutely. So to give the solution to the problem, we can use an expression such as this one. To address this issue, the government could increase sales tax on food considered to be unhealthy. So that's a suggested solution to the problem. So now we only have 1 sentence left, and we can see that is A. This would hopefully encourage consumers to buy healthier food and therefore lose weight. If we go back to what the final sentence should do, it should explain how the solution addresses the problem. Let's see, does that do that? What do we think? Does that help to explain how the solution addresses the problem? Sentence A? I certainly think so. And as a result, that would make sense as our 5th sentence in this paragraph. It helps to link together the end of the main body paragraph with the beginning of the main body paragraph. So absolutely, A would be the final paragraph in this structure. So to confirm then, sentence C will be the first sentence of the paragraph. That's our topic sentence. Then we have a follow-up sentence which helps to explain the topic sentence. That is sentence B. Then we have an example of the topic sentence. Then we move on to a solution, and that is sentence D. And then finally, we have an explanation as to how the solution addresses the problem, and that is sentence A. And that is the structure that would produce a logical, organized paragraph for the main body of writing part 2. So Yip says, Gutierrez, well done. Your suggestions were logical and made sense. And thank you also to Jayshree, Charito, and Alice and Rani as well for your suggestions. I hope you can see how this structure helps to produce a logical main body paragraph. And I hope that you will be producing such logical structured paragraphs in your own writing practice as you prepare and move forward towards the IELTS exam. So it just remains for me now to thank you for coming to today's class. I hope you found it useful. Thanks once again to all those who are watching live and those who participated during the class. And I will be back tomorrow to analyze another IELTS task. So I hope to see you then. Until then, goodbye and take care.